Hi, Grace.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, it
Okay.
works fine. Thank you. So thanks for coming to the interview. Sam, could you tell us a few things? How do your friends usually describe you? What kind of person you are?
Okay, so I'll start from my introduction and also talk about how I as a person and what I'm good at. So I'm Grace. I'm a senior student in Fujian University who majors in English, and I have taken many courses that are related to English teaching in the department. So I also have some related teaching experiences. I work in cram school for over 4 years, and I'm also a tutor who teaches elementary school students in both English and Chinese. So in addition, in my college year, I also held many camps for students in remote areas during the summer vacations. Therefore, I am familiar with rural education. And from the school professional training and the related teaching experiences, I learned how to communicate with young children and how to design interesting lessons. And also, I learned how to be a better teacher. And I believe I can bring these skills and strengths to this job. And so I think as a teacher, as a person who wants to be a teacher, I am creative and also responsible. And I'm also a good communicator and listener. So I hope I answered the question.
Yes, thank you. So Andy, you can go ahead and interview
Just a
her.
little. All right.
Yes.
You're very modest, Grace. You're very modest. You said something like at the end you didn't say you rephrase. You were saying that you're a teacher, but then someone to be a teacher. You're very modest. You know? Next time, just say you're the teacher because you have the experience and you want it to be. So you're on the way of you're already a teacher. Anyway, sorry. I'm saying if you're too modest, that would show that you lack of confidence. All right.
Okay.
Why have you left your previous position as a teacher to be a teacher here? New question.
Okay.
Should I go back to easier questions and then come back to this one? I just don't want to repeat myself too many times. Would you like to talk about what makes a good teacher?
Okay.
All right. Let me go to Grace. What do you think makes a good teacher?
Okay. So I also think about this question during the previous interview. So I think in addition to teaching and lecturing, and being a good teacher should also be a good communicator and good listener because it is important to know the students' condition and get to know their needs. So I want to take my personal experience of teaching in the rural areas. So I noticed that the students in the remote areas may need more than just academic support, while many of them have family issues. For example, some of the students need to take care of their younger siblings after school because their parents are usually not at home for different reasons. So I think that they do not have enough time to finish their homework and assignments at home. So at this time, it is important for the teacher to realize the fact and have the empathy for the student instead of just questioning them why they didn't finish the homework and asking them to improve their grades. So overall, I think being a good communicator and listener is important to a good teacher because it is always important to be patient to solve the students' academic problems and also their daily life problems.
Good, excellent answer. A good teacher, the difference between a good teacher and a teacher, one of them is a good teacher will be involved in the student's life and not just be involved with the student's test. The tests, all the systems, they're not designed to care for the student. They're designed to for the bosses, for the employers to know whether I can use this person or not. But that's not a teacher's job. A teacher's job is really not just to teach, but to take care of your learners. But that's just me. Everybody has a different opinion on that. You mentioned about teaching in rural areas. I have a great scenario for you. But first, I still want to come back to that question that you were raising to. All right, Grace, you ready? You ready for that?
Yes.
Okay. Grace, why have you left your previous position as a teacher and to be a teacher here?
So my previous position is a cram school teacher, English teacher. So I think that working in a cram school, there are a lot of academic pressure to the students. So sometimes the students often feel stressful or anxious in the process of learning. So I think I want to change a different environment to try something new in teaching. For example, being more creative during teaching and let the students have a better learning environment instead of just focusing on their academic performance.
Good. That's it. And worry about my questions too much. Let me find my scenario. All right, rural areas. I'm gonna keep talking about this part because it's good. Here, Grace, I have a scenario for you. You have been working, in that school. Sorry, let me do it again. You have not been able to take a day off for a year, despite having annual leaves. But you couldn't take a day off because there isn't a substitute teacher. And how would you react or respond to this situation? Whether you are working in a rural area or in a cram school, in regard to this situation, it's the same. No substitute teacher. Should I repeat myself?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Because sometimes I have a question in the question. Mm-hmm. You have not been able to take a day off for a year because there are no other substitute teachers. How would you react or respond? I'll say to your supervisor.
I think even though as a teacher, it is important to always be there for your students or always be prepared to teach them something new. But it is still important that a teacher keeps his or her own personal life. So I think not having a day off for over a year is a really long time. So maybe it's better for me to I think it's a teacher's right to say that they need a break or it's inappropriate to have these long working hours. So if it's necessary, I think maybe I'll change my job.
Thank you. Bye-bye. No. But this situation is really real. I 4 years. I've only taken day off since I got married, have a kid, and when my dog was dying. And this is 4 years. I've only taken day offs on these 4 occasions. And I'm a freelancer. So here is my life lesson to this situation. When you are overworking every day, you need the holiday. But when you are working in your own terms, you don't need to even have a holiday because every day you own the day. And this is a little bit difficult to understand because most teachers in cram schools, most teachers out there, they're either doing too much or they're doing something that they don't like, and what happens as a result is they needed the break. Every time they're waiting for the long break, which they can never take. And so they get sick, they finally move on to the next job, and it's the same thing in a different place. So it's the day off is not the problem. The problem is your work environment and how you make the environment. There's no solution to substitute teacher. I mean, if you were the boss, why would you hire a substitute teacher just to be there on standby? You wouldn't. If you would, you probably will lose the school because you can't afford it. So, the employer may not be asking you this, but it's something that you should know, before you have this situation. All right, moving on. And that was my scenario. Do I have 5?
Yes, about 3 minutes, something.
Okay. All right. Since Grace is so nervous, I should ask a difficult question here. All right, it's not difficult. It's just this one is a classic, What do you see yourself in 5 years? Should you be hired here? 5. Because I wanted to know whether you are just here for as a stepping stone to something better. That's what they won't say, but you should know.
Oh, okay.
So, what do you see yourself in?
So to get into a new environment, I of course want to learn how to be a better teacher through observing other teachers and teaching, and so I want to improve myself, of course, in this position. So in this 5 year, I will, of course, I want to get more experience of teaching. So I will focus on teaching the students, and at the same time, I would like to learn some more things from other supervisor. And if it's possible, I will also want to be a supervisor in this company, in this school.
Too modest. You're being very modest.
Okay.
You know, I said that at the beginning. Instead of saying, maybe I also want to be, just say, I would like to be one of the supervisors. I would like to take control of the curriculums of this school. Of course, parenthesis, if I get the chance. It's obvious. If you don't get the chance, you know, there's nothing to say. So be confident and say, even though this may not be true later, just say that you wanted this, right? You wanted to be a teacher. You are the teacher. You wanted to be a supervisor. You are the supervisor. Okay, so you said that you wanted to learn learn from other teachers, other supervisors. Yeah, those are all, you know, reasonable and actually obvious. But in 5 years, if you are still learning, then it's not great. Of course, we're always learning, but in 5 years' time, in the future, learning is not enough. You should already have a certain amount of, you know, skills and knowledge to move up for someone else to take your position now, right? That's a bit of the logic to this question. All right. So the suggestion that I have for you is, I think you're being modest and a little too nervous because you haven't thought of these kind of questions. And don't worry about it, because I ask strange questions just so you can think about, you know, why you want to be a teacher. And to prepare every interview any interviews for English teachers, all you really need to prepare is just one. Why do you want to be a teacher? You know, how far would you go as a teacher? You know, like the situation question that I asked you, not having a day off for a year, which, you know, do you want to be a teacher more than taking a day off? I know it's unethical to not take a day off, but things happen, and you want to be a teacher for the long term, not just part-time. A part-time teacher, you know, you don't need to prepare anymore. There are lots of jobs out there. You can just, you know, work for fun. But if you really want to be a teacher, you need to think about why. It's definitely not for the money, because for the money you will quit. You would quit for a higher paying job, or you quit for anything, any frustration. The first parent that complained to you, you want to quit. So why do you want to be a teacher? You can think about that. Or you can change the interview next time. You know, this time I want to be something else. You know, I want to be an actor, whatever. All right, that's all from me.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're now moving on to our last interviewee.